NJ Vinny says Cletus made Daytona. Now I know we're going back here to yesterday, but I got to say this, Herm. I had heard of Cletus McFarland, right? And I knew about the YouTube channel. I knew about flying the helicopters with Greg Biffle, and I knew he had a big following, right? 4.1 million subscribers on YouTube. Herm,
Yeah.
I could not believe we posted a couple videos. You did a little quick 3-minute video or whatever. I cut a video out of our live stream from yesterday. I could not believe the views on those videos. Like, I knew the dude was popular. I had no freaking idea how popular that dude was and how many people, not even just young people, Herm. I know he's like 30 years old, 29. I had dudes who were 70 years old in the comments going, I used to love NASCAR. I haven't watched NASCAR in 15 years. I watched the freaking ARCA race because of Cletus McFarland.
Charlie, YouTube is a phenomenon, and I've learned that. It's no secret how honest I am. I'm brutally honest. I don't think I get myself in trouble, but I think it makes people understand. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because you can go to YouTube right now. There's a YouTube push 1320. Cletus, there's a 30-minute show out there. Cletus, and he's on 1320. That's how he got his start. 1320 on YouTube was the YouTube page that got Cletus started. Garrett Mitchell. His story is phenomenal, but I want to back up and say this. We're not going to tell everybody the figure, but it's a lot. We do good. We have JEGS that sponsors this show. We have Sunoco that sponsors Coffee with Kenny. We have Kenny Conversation. We have the Kenny Wallace Show. Now, right now, we call this the Kenny Wallace Show. Then we have Kenny Conversation, where we interview the greatest athletes in the world. Then we have Coffee with Kenny. That's 3 shows right there. Then, Dale Jr. called us with Mike Davis, and they said, would you please give us your Kenny Conversation content? And would you start Herman Schrader? Now we've got all these shows. You all love it. We appreciate you. Okay, now let's go to Garrett Mitchell. Garrett Mitchell tells this incredible story where he just wants to be part of this group, 1320. So we call ourselves Kenny Wallace YouTube Show. You go to 1320, Charlie, push it in on YouTube. They got 3.6 million subscribers. Garrett Mitchell's up to 4.1 now. But Garrett, Cletus McFarland, he says in his 30-minute special, it's a 30-minute special to all of us how he got started. And his story has got 1.1 million views. I watched it all last night. He's Garrett Mitchell. But he did one little video, and he did like this. I'll tell you one thing right now, Earnhardt's my man. I liked his daddy. And he went full redneck. And his buddy that was working the camera posted it. And he said he was going to make his name something, but the guy said, you're going to be Cletus McFarland. Because Cletus, it's like WWE. It's a show. So everybody knows the real Garrett Mitchell. He's a real serious guy, kind of like this. But there's something about creating a character. He is so damn funny. And he says all the funny stuff. And here's the reason he's got so many viewers. Everybody's got a car. Everything he does is about a passenger car, about drag racing. So see, Charlie, we'll never get there because what we do, we're racing. What Cletus does is he creates this character, and he's got like an old drag car. You see what I'm saying? And so everything he does is he relates with everybody. Everybody else is like, I got a car. It's outlaw drag racing on the streets. It's illegal. Then he tells this story where he borrowed money from. Now, here's the other little hidden secret. Garrett's mom and dad are pretty wealthy, and that's on the down low. But Garrett made it on his own, and they wanted him to go to law school, and Cletus was going to law school, and he found himself in law school going found himself on Instagram and Facebook. He goes, I can make a living at this, just like you did, Charlie. So here's Cletus McFarland finds himself in law school because that's what his mom and dad want him to do. And he's like, I see how much money 1320's making. I can do this. And he tells his dad, he goes, Dad, I love you. And this is in the story. Somebody sent me the story last night. I watched it all. I watched all 30 minutes. So he did it on his own. So he takes all this money that he makes. He goes down and he buys Bradenton down there, I think in DeSoto somewhere, and calls it, what's he call it, everybody?
The Freedom Factory.
Freedom Factory. They pick all the weeds out. I've raced that track. I've run that track. And he turned it into a show. And now he says it's making so much money. He was brave. He's the American dream.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what, to fly a helicopter, you got to be pretty damn good. So, yeah, what's NJ saying here?
Okay. NJ Vinny says about Cletus, he does much more than that. He does RC airplanes. He had to hold the door closed on his house during the hurricane.
Right. And he records that.
Yeah.
You know, Charlie, I used to grab my phone and do videos when I was pooping in porta potties. Embarrassing, but they ate it up. They loved it. The story of Cletus McFarland is wonderful. And he relates to everybody because he uses normal cars. And just like you said, you got to be good to fly a helicopter. And I flew with Rusty in those helicopters. And those things are no joke. They're very dangerous. Cletus, Garrett is very smart. And I think another reason it works is everybody knows he's playing. But the stuff's real. He knows it's real too. So I can relate. I love him. Yeah, Charlie.
Right.
Hold on, one more thing. I want to relate with you. I post a 3-minute observation of Cletus McFarland on X. Did you see how many views I got?
Okay, so hold on a second, because I put that on YouTube. I don't know if you knew that. How many views did it get on X?
It's over 150,000 views on X.
Okay, get this.
My 3-minute observation.
So I took that. So yesterday, Kenny and I, for everybody, we did a live show basically around lunchtime. There were so many storylines from Daytona. And then we talked about Cletus a little bit, but then you did kind of a coffee with Kenny basically on the couch. And I missed it because the day was
late
going
at night.
on.
I should have called you.
Well, no, it's all good. I think, whatever time it was, and I'm doing stuff with my family. And then I see it. I go, oh, so I put it on late. And I just put it on YouTube and I kind of walk away. Not because if you do YouTube a long time, you usually kind of know how a video is going to do. We had never really talked about Cletus McFarland, so I had no clue. So I leave my computer. I come back. I was like, I could not believe how many views it got. So that 3-minute video, whatever it is, has 166,000 views on YouTube. And I couldn't believe it. Again, that's why I said I knew this dude was popular. I never knew he was that popular. It's freaking amazing.
Unbelievable. I'm looking at it right now. That is insane. Well, I texted the Biff. I texted Greg Biffle. Did we did a Kenny conversation with Greg Biffle, didn't we?
We did one before the helicopter stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Biff texts me all the time. And boy, when the Biff texts me, when Greg Biffle texts me, I answer. He needed some shocks for his, what do they call those cars they run? Those old Mustangs or?
Are they Crown Victorias?
Yeah. So Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell, they created this, I wanted to buy a Crown Victoria just to drive around town. Well, so Biffle, he's got a little dirt track out in the middle of the woods up there in North Carolina. And the Biff calls me. He goes, Herman, I need to get some shocks. So now these guys, they're getting competitive. They just couldn't run this fun race. So I got Greg Biffle hooked up with my buddies at Fox Shocks. So the Biff, I'm going to reach out to Biff one more time and say, hey, I bet Cletus will let me interview him. And I got great questions to ask him.